is. And so we look at all those parameters and see whether the proposals that are being put on the table fit that description.
Activism in all forms continues to make a big impact at COP events. Now, activists come as invitees, entrepreneurs and protesters. Max Fontaine is the founder of the social enterprise Bôndy, a reforestation company in Madagascar. The 26-year-old activist was at COP26 in Glasgow last year and has been attending this year's conference. The BBC's Peter Okoche caught up with Max and asked him what an activist does.
There is the climate activist that wants to make a lot of noise to try to have their voice being heard by the one who's got power on the decisions. And there is another part of youth who don't like to be called, I'd say, as activist, but more as active. Because shouting, speaking out loud is one thing, acting without waiting for the decision makers is another thing. And this is the choice we made. It's like we won't wait forever for those decision makers, so we are going to act, launch our project, find our own funds and make our impact. We are focusing around reforestation project, but that benefits to the local population. We have mangrove restoration, agroforestry project on farmers, smallholders, and every project is conceived and built to have impacts on the environmental part, of course, on the social aspects, how to improve the local population's daily lives, and finally the economic aspect, which is really important in the development, in the sustainable development of our countries, how to build economies around the natural resources.
But you are just one small organization. How much of an impact can you really make?
So our impact is a sip in this ocean of problem, you know, but still we make our part. And what we want to do is to inspire other Malagasy youth, you know, to be convinced that we all have a role to play in this worldwide, in this global fight, you know. And maybe we won't change the world, but if we do it at a small scale, at a small part that we manage, it's still our legacy, you know.
How much of an impact has your own organization had now in Madagascar, you know, in the planting of trees, reforestation and all that? How much have you done?
So far, we have planted around 800,000 trees in various regions of Madagascar. Also, we have partnered with 300 different farmers, you know, to try to improve their daily lives. We also have farmers field school, where we make capacity building, you know, to empower mostly youth and women. And we have that in all of our projects. And we have also 3,000 volunteers that are youth from rural and urban areas that come with us to plant the trees, you know. So it's not activism on social network, it's real concrete action. So that is the impact we like to highlight amongst all the environmental impacts on protecting the Malagasy's unique biodiversity or improving the economic situation of rural farmers.
Now, last year when we spoke in COP26, the big story concerning Madagascar was the famine. It had been officially declared the first famine caused by climate change. What's the situation today?
Today, there is still a really bad situation. For instance, more than hundreds of thousands of Malagasy are in severe hunger, actually. So as we speak of today, so of course COP26 didn't solve any of these issues. The droughts are continuing to be more severe and more frequent and longer.
Let's now take a look at other stories making the headlines across Africa and the rest of the world.